Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. I won't be long. There were so many things I wanted to talk about this week, but I waited too long, and I feel like the energy for a lot of it is gone. So I'm just gonna stick to the main topic. The main topic is this whole situation with the young man. Uh, May Allah be pleased with him, who got murdered by the Asian store owner. I felt a lot of anger at first. I felt a lot of rage at first. I felt like uncontrollable anger, uncontrollable rage, and then I realized that the blessing that we have is realizing our own power. When you realize that you have power, you don't have to feel uncontrollable rage. And of course, anger is acceptable. Even rage is acceptable because we're in a situation where we watched a young man get murdered for nothing. A young man who could have been one of our could have been one of our sons, could have been one of our nephews, could have been a friend of one of our children. And if it's going to be one of our sons, and of course there's no difference in the mind of the enemy if it's one of our daughters. One of our daughters can get killed. Nieces, friend of the family, mothers, cousins, whoever, it don't even matter. The lives of black people are expendable in the minds of a lot of individuals around the world. And it's sad when you get individuals who, for years as black people, we were taught that the wars between black and white. And you realize that you got brown people who don't like us. You realize you got Asian people who don't like us. You got people from India who don't like us. You got people from the Dominican Republic who don't like us. It seems almost like the entire world is against black Americans and black Africans and blacks from the Caribbean. They've been trained so well and brainwashed so thoroughly by the white supremacists that they all feel the same hatred towards us that the white supremacist feels. That same fear, that same anxiety, which turns into loathing, which turns into hate, which turns into aggression. They have the same hate towards us. And of course you feel rage because of that, because this hate that they have towards us, like I said, it turns to aggression, turns to violence. And you don't want to sit around waiting for nobody to be violent against you. And my first thought when this was happening, I was like, enough is enough. We got to go out there and we got to handle biz. We got to go out there and we got to return violence with violence. And the day is going to come where we might have to actually do that. The day is going to come where we're going to have to do that. That day might be now. But before we turn to violence, just utilize our power in other ways. And we should be boycotting these stores. I mean, it's been proven time and time again that individuals who come from this particular culture, from the Asian culture, they're not particularly fond of melanated people. They don't like us. And that's fine. Let's take our money elsewhere. And instead of using our money to support the regime of our enemies, let's utilize our money to support ourselves. We don't have to necessarily see the point of a boycott is not to stop putting money into the enemy's pocket. The point of a boycott is to take that money and put it in your own pocket. If there's a need for something in your community, you start the business and you take care of that need. If we need something, we should be the first ones that we can turn to take care of that need. We need to have black plumbers in our community, black carpenters in our community, black store owners in our community, black farmers in our community, black butchers in our community, black meat suppliers in our community. We should be able to have a supply chain to take care of the needs of the people within my hometown, Hartford, Connecticut. We should have enough stuff around Hartford, Connecticut, because they got plenty of farmland in Connecticut. They said at one point in time, Connecticut was all farms. My grandmother used to always say, back in the day, it used to be all farms out here. It was all farms. And even now, you drive to certain areas and you just see just wide swaths of land where they grow fruit, they grow grapes, apples. We got huge apple orchards. We got strawberry orchards. We got so many places where we grow fruit. Some of us should own some of that land and be the ones supplying the supply or supplying the produce to individuals in our community. People should be able to come to people who look like them first. That's how you sustain a community. That's how you build a community. And back in the day, we used to take care of all of our own needs. We used to take care of all of this stuff. But our supply chain was disrupted by white supremacists. But we ended up fighting back and standing strong. We can continue to fight back and stand strong and run businesses that take care of the needs of our community. There's a place on Barber Street in Hartford, Connecticut. It's a grocery store, but it keeps changing hands because people refuse to support it. And it could be because maybe it's just not in a spot where there's enough foot traffic, but it's in a big plaza. The library's there, the Dollar General's there, you got the pizza shop there. You got the liquor store there. All of those stores, the liquor store, pizza shop, Dollar General, they've been there for years. That liquor store been there. I remember going to them when I used to drink. I don't drink no more, you know. So stuff a lot, you know. But back when I used to drink, that liquor store been there forever. I'm 46 now. I remember going to that liquor store when I was 20, since I was 21. You know, and I haven't had a drink in 5 years, so 41. I moved down here 5 years ago. And before that, you know, I was going to that liquor store pretty regularly. So that liquor store has been there for a good long time. That liquor store has been there at least 25 years. It's never had no money issues, and it's run by non-black people. It's run by Indians. The pizza shop, Burger and Pizza Land, is run by non-black people. It's run by Indians. And I don't have no grievance with them, but we need to run our own businesses. So when these people from other cultures decide they want to display their hatred towards us and exercise their power over us, they have power over our food supply, power over our water supply, power over our liquor supply. If you're one of them individuals that feels like you need that, they have all this power over us. And one day, the day is gonna come where they're gonna say, you know what? I don't like niggas no more. Time for me to exercise my power over them and treat them like shit. So if you have your own supply, your own products, you have your own produce, you grow your own food, you have your own meat supply chain, then guess what? You'll be in a position where people can't exercise power over you. If you can supply your own community and supply yourself with the things you need, can't nobody say nothing. They can't exercise nothing over you. They can call you nigga all they want to, but they can't do nothing to interfere. They can't do nothing to interfere with you exercising your rights. And if they try, you can legally stop them, or use other means, legal or otherwise. But we can't complain and continue to complain when we putting our kids at risk. It's clear now that by you're putting your kids at risk by not owning anything. So don't get outraged, don't get angry, don't even seek revenge. What we have to do first, before we seek revenge, is we got to create our own supply chain and have our own, run our own businesses, start our own new Black Wall Street. I remember when I started my first business. It didn't go as well as I hoped, but they say that your first business is the one that you practice with. The first business is the one that you try to achieve a goal with. You know what I'm saying? So start a business. Start something small. Learn the ins and outs of it. Find a mentor who can walk you through it and educate you about certain things. Find out what you need to make your business thrive and grow. And just go outside. Go outside and look at your community. Look and see what your community needs. See what your community needs and say, you know what? I'm going to do that, and I'm going to charge to do that. Go outside. I remember during the wintertime, somebody from Connecticut, right now I'm in Maryland. I'm from Connecticut. Somebody in Hartford had put up a picture. During that big winter storm, the garbage cans outside were like full and overflowing. It was really disgusting. It was really horrible. And then the snow started to melt. When the snow started to melt, you had just all this garbage just scattered all over the place, all over the ground. It was horrible. So maybe you could go to the city, file for a grant, and say, I want to be the one who clean. After the garbage man comes and gets the garbage, after they do the street sweeper thing, our city is still not clean. I want to start my own business. You know what I mean? I want to budget from you guys. I want to start my own business, and I want to be the one to go around the city and clean up, do all the extra cleaning. One time when I was young and I used to drink, I remember they had me do community service. My community service was to walk around on Hartford, Connecticut in the freezing cold and pick up garbage off the ground with a little poker stick thing. But that's not enough. No matter how many people you sucker into cleaning the city because they got community service, that's not enough. You need somebody who actually has to clean the city as a job. And you may as well just start that business and have your own job. Tell them to give you a little budget, hire like 4 or 5 people, and y'all just go around the city every single day just cleaning up certain areas and getting paid. That's a Black-owned business. Or if there's a landlord, go to the landlords all around and be like, yo, I'll clean around your house and then in the back of the house and around the dumpster, and I'll clean in front of the house. Once a month, I'll stop here and I'll do all that cleaning. You just gotta pay me. Gotta pay my company. That's another business that you could possibly have. I know somebody who used to work for Hartford Hospital. When they worked for Hartford Hospital, they would go to Hartford Hospital and they were hired to just only do laundry. It was one of them places, them sleep study places, and you go there, you get all the laundry, you get the dirty blankets and the dirty sheets off the bed and the dirty bitter pillows, and ship that somewhere else, and they wash. All you have to do is just move it. That person had their own business. There's always going to be things that your community needs, and that's what your businesses should be. Your business should be whatever the community needs in a material sense. See, I have my own business, and I was trying to provide something the community needed. I was trying to teach meditation, which is not a physical, material thing. It's not something you can hold in your hand. And it's things that your community needs. The community needs garbage removal. Community needs, after-school programs for kids. It needs after-school programs to teach kids how to exercise. It needs, places where kids can work. Matter of fact, that could be your business. Just write a grant proposal, go to the city, tell them you have a business where you want kids to have jobs. I mean, you own the company, the kids work for you, you have some teenagers working for you, and they'll go around the city and they'll clean up and they'll get paid. And we'll pay them fairly. You ain't going to pay them a little bit of money because we have to pay them enough to make it attractive to them. There's a business. There's kids out there, like, right now we need some plumbing done in the house. There's kids out there who need a trade. They might not be doing so well in school or whatever, but they might be good with their hands. They could get a trade and be excellent at it and be brilliant and geniuses at it. So you start your own business where you teach kids your trade. If you're a plumber, start an after-school program or start a program during school. You get like once a week on a Friday. Kids get out of school early and come with you and work with you on projects and look at what you do and look at how you diagnose things and fix things. They could be your apprentice. And then once they get old enough or they get the right resources, they can go to school, get the school training, because they need a certain amount of hours of school training to be a plumber. Then they can get the test, get the license, and they're good to go at an early age. Instead of being like me, I was, in my 20s running around wasting time, getting wasted for years and years and years. Whereas you can find these kids when they're young and when they got energy, when they're energetic, and have them getting ready to start a job that pays well and go out into the real world and be able to provide a service for the community. You can have a business where you go around the world and just find individuals who are looking for investments and have them invest in your city if you got the gift of gab and if your city has potential. But that's what we got to be doing. We got to start thinking of ways and innovative ways where we can make money and provide that money for the community, so we ain't got to keep complaining about other people killing us when we own their property. If you're on somebody's property, their business or their home or whatever, and they kill you because ownership is so important in law, they can just say, well, he was trespassing. Even if you're not, he was trespassing. I shot him. I thought he was trying to kill me. The lack of ownership, the lack of money, the lack of resources, that's why they're taking advantage of us. But no more. We got to build ourselves up. And if, yes, we have to use force to defend our family and defend our children, defend our community, we'll use force too. But force is not just physical violence. Force is using the power to build something. It takes force to be able to put those buildings up. It takes force to be able to start a business. It takes force to be able to get that money. Let's use force in a variety of ways, not just physical force. Let's use force in a variety of ways so that we can uplift our community and bring an end to these individuals, these racists, feeding off of our money and murdering our children. Assalamu alaikum.